Paddy Power are offering huge money-back specials for the whole of December. Head to paddypower.com now for more information on the selected races. Max £10 refund per customer. T's and C's apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Hi everyone, it's the Racing Post Weekend Postcast. Welcome along, I'm Bruce Millington and I'm delighted to be joined this week by Paul Keeley, from our Irish office Mark Boylan, and from Paddy Power Frank Hickey. Hopefully they've all been studying hard and have got loads of winners for you. We've got Cheltenham, 4 races on ITV4, we've got 3 at Doncaster, loads of other stuff going on all over the place. Hopefully the weather is relented and everything will be on. And on Sunday we've got a horse that I really do like. He's looking to enhance his Cheltenham reputation in the big race at Navan. Plus there's 1, 2, 3, 4 other meetings. Very busy Sunday. So before we get, without further ado even, let's get stuck into Cheltenham. And the first of the 4 TV races is one that for a lot of people will be the big betting event of the day. It's the 155, it's the Caspian Caviar Gold Cup. A handicap chase in which normally it's a big field and it's a big price favourite. This time we've only got 11 runners and Paul Nicholls has got a fairly short price favourite. Frank Hickey, how do you bet on the Caspian Caviar?
Yeah, Clondazabo at 7-2, Le Prezi and the Stark Taker 6-1, King's Odyssey 13-2, Roman de Sanam, Banny Alton are 8-1, Flash of Ginge 10-1, and we're 12-1 bar.
Okay, Mark Boylan, it's your final week with us after your 6 months of being absolutely brilliant for us. And you're a better judge than Kills as well, so you're going to go first. Who's going to win it?
Well, listen, no pressure, so no, listen, thanks very much. Look, for me here, it comes down to ground conditions. Ballyalton is a horse I have an awful lot of time for. He'd won at Cheltenham off 140 at the festival. He's only 143 now. He's a very lightly raced horse. He's 10 with a few miles on the clock. Ian Williams is having a great season. He ran a cracker in the Bet Victor. He was fourth in the end, but the ground went desperately against him. I'm concerned about it again on Saturday. And if it was to deteriorate any further, I will side with Clondazabo here. Actually, just in passing, I must mention we had our Christmas night out here last night. And David Jennings was very, very sweet on this fella, this Clondazabo. I think there was talk of him trying to pay for his wedding with this Clondazabo tomorrow. He's a classy horse. You know, and whether Quisper was cherry ripe the day he encountered him, I don't know. But he was awesome at Haydock. So look, for me, it comes down to what way the weather is going tomorrow. If we have any bit of drying in the ground itself, I'll be heading for Ballyalton at around the 8-1 mark. And if not, Clondazabo looks very solid.
What's DJ like with the drink inside him? Talkative?
Oh, David is a very social fella anyway. He's absolutely super to be around. No, we had a super night now last night. And no, everyone now well represented, thank God.
Jolly good. Kills, how do you see this one? First of all, what do you think the weather's going to do?
I've absolutely no idea what the weather's going to do. I haven't really looked.
I'll have a quick look while you tell us who's going to win.
It's going to be pretty soft ground. I mean, I do like Clondazabo. I actually put him up in our annual as one of our horses to watch. But, you know, it's a big ask carrying 11 stone 12 around there. He's only a 5-year-old.
No rain forecast.
I was just having a look at Gerald Delamere's stuff, and he said the last horse in this race to carry more than 11 stone 10 to victory was Pendle in 1974. So he's got a bit of history against him. The one I like, I don't like the Bet Victor form of the Splash with Ginger winning Le Prezi and Stark Attack second and third. And Ballyalton fourth. I just didn't think that was a particularly good renewal of that race. So I'm going against him with King's Odyssey, who was absolutely lobbing around last year in this race, came down at the 12th. I think he's been primed for another run in it. He won on Trials Day in January 2016 at Cheltenham, the novice handicap chase there that day. That was a really, really good race. In fourth was on top of 2. He's won 2 handicap chases at Cheltenham Festival since. In fifth was one for Arthur, who's obviously won the Grand National last season. And I think he's been absolutely primed for it. And he's £7 lower than he was last year, so he's the one for me.
King's Odyssey. For Keels. Who for you, Frank?
Yeah, I narrowed down to 2. I can see where Dave Jennings is coming from at Clondazabo, but it's very difficult to win these handicaps off a high mark. Like he's running off 155, and I think people are latching on to the fact that Whisper only narrowly beat him at Kempton over 2.5 miles, but Whisper needs further, and I'd be very surprised if Whisper was fully revved up that day. And like to put in context, Long Run was beaten in the Paddy Power Gold Cup off 158, so it'll take a fair performance to win. No, he's only 5, so he could improve. But I'm with Paul. King's Odyssey is very interesting. I'd be a bit more sweet if there was a bit of rain forecast. I think he wants it even softer than it's going to be. But I remember back in last year, and I was sick when he fell. I think it was 4 out he fell. He was travelling really well. He's won at the course before. I think, as a novice, and he's definitely going to go well. But I also like Guitar Pete, and it's a bit of a strange reason why, but he was 25-1, I think, the night before the Bet Victor Gold Cup, and he was backed into 11-1. He was a bit of a mover on the show. And then when you go inspect, like, the Inval fell at the first and nearly brought him down. He got detached. So the fact that he was beaten only 25 lengths, you can put a line through that. But the time before Weatherby, he won very well. Now, Samatkal was returning from, the horse in the second was returning from a break, and he ran really well in the Sefton last week before he finished third. Just the heavy ground probably caught him out. But back and forth that day was Splash of Ginge, who went on to actually win the Bet Victor. Guitar Pete's on the same mark. He has some back class. He's finished third at Triumph Hurdle. He's off 134. He's only £7 higher than Weatherby. I think he looks a big price at 12-14-1.
Yeah, I'd almost forgotten about him, Frank, because I actually tipped him for the Bet Victor, and he just reminded me. Yeah, I was trying to remember why he ran so badly, and now I remember thinking, oh Christ, like, he's been put out of the race at the first. Like, I remember that now. Yeah.
Oh, he was mullered. Like, he had no chance. And it's just, you go back and inspect the Weatherby race, and this race actually isn't as deep and probably not as good a race, and he's gone off 11-1 for the Bet Victor, and he's actually a bigger price here.
Disappointing only to have 11 runners, isn't it, Kills?
Yeah, I think there was like 16, 17 last year, and but you don't always get a massive field for this race.
Okay, fair enough. Right then, to summarise, Paul Keeley goes for King's Odyssey, Mark Boylan goes for Ballyalton, and Frank Hickey takes a chance with Guitar Pete. Well done, lads. We're off and running. Let's look at the 2:30 now. It's the Albert Bartlett Novices Hurdle. Only 5 runners. A couple of decent prospects here, Frank, at the head of the market.
Yeah, Equus Secretus is 6-4. Count Marable 15-8. Kilbricken Storm 9-2. Global Stage 13-2. And II Charlie's at the outside of the field at 20-1.
Keels?
Yeah, I was looking at this race the other night, and my initial fancy was Count Marable because I thought he'd been winning quite well. But then I have a look at his breeding and find out he's by 3 Valleys. He was a sprinter. And he's going up to 3 mile for the first time. And it's not bottomless ground, but it's still going to be soft. I just wonder whether he's not really bred to stay 2.5 mile, but he does get it well, obviously. But it just wonders to me if it becomes a real slog. And again, with Equus Secretus, he just looked like still a big baby at Southwell. He was wandering around all over the place in the straight. It was just a 2-horse race from the best part of half a circuit, and he did pull it out, and he does stay well. But I would wonder whether he's man enough. And it got round to looking at Global Stage of Fergal O'Brien's. Now I'm a bit of a fan of the Fergal O'Brien stable anyway, but last year he made his debut in a bumper, ran second, close second to the horse who finished third in the champion bumper. And then he made his debut over hurdles in the Tolworth Hurdle, won by Phineas Oscar. And he actually went well through that race for a long way. He only got beat 10 lengths. But probably that was a real hard introduction, and he never sort of recovered last season. But he came out and won pretty comfortably, albeit in a fairly poor maiden hurdle. But he's a horse that shapes like he absolutely wants 3 miles at least, and I think he just might improve and go past them. And I see he's 13-2 with Paddy. I think that's a fair price.
Do you like a little bit of each way in a 5-runner race like that?
If the price is big enough, I can do. Yeah.
Was 3 Valleys the thing that Richard Hills won the Coventry bar off the track?
I think it might have been. Yeah, but it's not bred to be a 3 mile chaser, hurdle or whatever.
Okay, Frank, who do you think is going to win the 2:30?
I would be. Again, you'd have to respect Count Marable because Twisted Davis has won this twice in the last 3 years with Holdstone and Black Lion, so he normally sends a decent one. But it was 2 miles 4, 2 miles 5 at Ascot the last time he did it the hard way. But this Equus Secretus is very, very interesting, I think. First time out at Huntingdon, he was over 2.5. He did plenty wrong, but he stuck his neck out and really wanted to win, and he did. But then when he went to Sutton, he was just really tough again, out in front, and just kept on going. And the horse he beat, Another Stowaway, was second on the blind side at Aintree. Now, on the blind side was making his hurdles debut. Has obviously improved a fair bit since, so you couldn't take that form literally. But Equus Secretus relished the 3 miles and put Another Stowaway away very easily. I think he's just an absolute hardy bastard over 3 miles, and I won't go against him. I think he'll win.
Mark, what do you think?
I'd be disappointed if the Albert Bartlett winner comes out of this field, to be quite honest. It's grand, it's a fine race, but I wouldn't be getting overly excited about most of these going forward. And I'd be with Paul. I'm going to side on a tentative nod with the Global Stage. He's won a point-to-point before on heavy ground. I think that's no problem in terms of kicking in for stamina here. I think it's his first start beyond an extended 2.5 under rules. Last time should have given his confidence a nice boost. And that Tallworth run first him up was promising enough, and it probably just left him a little bit under the weather for the rest of the season. I'd be happy to have a stab at him, but I wouldn't be getting overly excited about any of these come Prestbury Park in March.
OK, well, it's early days, you never know. 3:05, the Unibet International Hurdle. This is great. Mellon versus the Old Guard of the new one, My Tenant or Yours, and indeed Old Guard. A really, really interesting race. I wish there were 8 runners so we could have a bit of each way, but you can't have everything. There are 7 runners priced as follows, Frank.
Yeah, Mellon is 7-4. The new one, 2-1. My Tenant or Yours, 5-1. Chittabello, 7-1. Old Guard, 12-1. And we're 16-1 bar.
And you can go first, Frank.
Yeah, it's a very interesting race. The new one's won this 3 times in the last 4 years. 2015, he didn't run. He's obviously going to be the one to beat, but I'm going to take a chance on Mellon. I know he's favourite, but like he's second in Supreme. He's only raced 4 times ever. Obviously a bit of a high horse. But I think if he's going to develop into, I won't say a champion hurdle winner, but say a champion hurdle contender, he'll have to be winning tomorrow. And I think he might be able to. Yeah, I'd take a chance on him. Like the new one will run to 160, but I'm hoping Mellon might improve past him.
Mark, what's your view?
I think this Mellon could be one of the greatest gifts at Cheltenham going at Christmas. This going at Cheltenham, I'm very, very sweet in him. I think this horse, he doesn't get the credit he deserves. It's a real failure to acknowledge what he's achieved so far. I think people have hurt pockets from after the Supreme, and they're not quite emotionally ready to buy into him just yet. But I think 7-4 would bite the hand off you for it. You know, he's only had the 4 starts, and his only 2 defeats have come when he's runner-up in 2 Grade 1s. And I think Ruby would hold his hands up and say that at Punchestown it wasn't his finest hour in terms of, you know, chasing after Pink Shoe, cutting his own throat. But last time at Down Royal, look, it didn't light my fire hugely now, but I think he's grown. He's getting bigger as a horse, and I think he'll learn to shape more. He's very inexperienced. He'll be wrong at the weights of the new one in terms of ratings there, but I think he's going to give him a serious race. And to be quite honest, in a year where Faugheen and Bouverdaire are going to dominate the champion hurdle, I would find it very hard to see Mellon not filling that 3rd place in the champion hurdle. If you're wanted to have a stab later on down the line, I think Mellon is going to win and win well on Saturday in the International, and I wouldn't put you off backing him at 14s each way for the champion hurdle if you want, especially in a year where if anything happened with Faugheen, who often shows he has different bits of fragility to him outside of off the race course. I think that this fella has a right good chance, and he's definitely underestimated. Mellon for me is one of the bets of the weekend.
Oh, very confident there from Mark. Right, Kill, 3 votes for Mellon, or are you going to
no,
take
I
him
think
on?
you're all absolutely bonkers. This is
I didn't say it.
This is home ground for the new one, isn't it? The new course at Cheltenham is his course. He wins this race easily every time he runs in it. And everyone says, oh, he can't win, you know, he's not good enough to win a champion hurdle. So what? Admire him for what he is. A great Grade 2 horse who just keeps on winning them when he runs in them. He is rated 163, so he's got just about £9-10 in hand and Mellon. They're running off levels because Mellon's got a penalty as well. He's got an easier chance against the rest of the field because the penalty system has changed this year and he's actually carrying £2 less. It used to be an £8 penalty, now it's only 6. And he's run 2 crackers already this year. He's won first time up. He finished 4th in the Greatwood under 11 stone 12 off his mark of 163. You know, if people gave him more respect for the sort of horse he is, he'd be even money. He deserves to be even money. And I cannot see why anybody would want to back Mellon against him. Really can't.
Blimey, OK. Will My Tenant or Yours finish second, Kills? He usually does, doesn't he?
He might finish second, yeah. He's a hugely talented horse, but he hasn't won over hurdles since 2013, I think it is.
Blimey. It's going to be a good contest. I love those horses. Right, the 340, it's the OLBG Mares Handicap Hurdle. And Frank, how do you bet?
Momelo is 9-2, Laminar Odyssey 5-1, Brilliere Momento 11-2, along with Lady Karinga. Molly Chinders is 13-2, Oscar Rose 9-1, Rivero 10-1, and we're 14-1 bar.
Kills, have you got strong fancy here?
Yeah, not a massively strong fancy, but you know, I don't know whether this is part sentiment involved here or not, but I'm sure that Venetia Williams would absolutely love to win a race around Cheltenham with Lady Karina, who is a daughter of Lady Rebecca and is the only horse out of Lady Rebecca that Venetia Williams has ever trained. Obviously, Lady Rebecca won the Cleve Hurdle 3 times. She was unbeatable virtually 2.5 miles around Cheltenham. And for people who don't remember her, when she went to her highest official rating was 170, which is £4 higher than Annie Power. So that just tells you how good Lady Rebecca was. And Lady Karina is actually pretty progressive herself. She won last season. She was 11-10 favourite. She beat Le Mans Odyssey, who was set to give a weight, but had a £7 claimer on. So if you take jockeys into account, Lady Karina's actually £6 better off. She was favoured to beat her that day and did so, but she's actually slightly bigger in the betting now. Don't sort of agree with that. Lady Karina then won at Warwick. She might not have won if the leader hadn't fallen at the last, but she really devoured the ground at the end. That was 2 mile 3. This is supposed to be 2 mile 4 and 56 yard, but it's almost 100 yards longer because of the rail positions. That'll suit her down to the ground as well. So I think she's the one to beat.
Lady Karina Kills is quite sweet on her. Who do you think, Mark?
I'm going to side here with the Skeletons, Momella. Look, not obviously one that's coming out of left field by any means, but I thought I was very impressed with the attitude she showed in particular last time behind On the Blind Side. Was never going to win, but kept digging in very, very nicely for second. Opened a mark of 134, looks manageable enough, and there's plenty of these that look exposed. And, you know, I think in terms of looking forward to progression, Momella is the one there that could go on and be a cut above them. That's where I'll side.
Do you always feel comfortable backing a Dan Skelton horse, Mark? I do. I just think, you know, he's just a great trainer, isn't he? They're just always there or thereabouts, aren't they?
I would absolutely, completely agree with you. I think he's, in terms of you can get real satisfaction in seeing a Dan Skelton horse progress. Or even, you know, when he turns one inside out there's a real, you know, there's some trainers there where you get one, it might take a little bit to suss them out. With him, I think it's on a very consistent basis. And yeah, I'd certainly find out from a back-end point of view that he'd be one of the more, you know, in historically profitable ones now for me. I think Dan Skelton is absolutely up there.
Frank, who's your selection?
I'm with Paul here. Well, you can make a case for Momella definitely on the run behind On the Blind Side. Lady Karina is very unexposed. She's only had 4 runs ever. She only made her debut a year ago. Like, to put in context, she was second to Laminar Odyssey, or she was third, sorry, to Laminar obviously at Exeter, but then turned the form around at Hereford in January. She wasn't seen until November at Warwick. Won nicely. Only got £5 for that. There's plenty of scope to improve for her. 120 underestimates, or I'd say she'll, like, if they go a clip here as well, she will stay on at the end. I really like her chances, yeah.
Okay, well, Paul Keeley's just backed one at Cheltenham, so we're going to have to let him be quiet and
all right,
watch
no,
his
I can
selection.
talk to it, but
Are
thanks
they
for
off
reminding
yet?
me, yeah.
Are they off yet? we'll do the competition, then we'll have a break, and then we'll get the lads Thoughts and Doncaster, and then we'll come back to you after you've chopped it off.
Okay.
So, competition-wise,
Massive drifter.
the winner from Monday's postcard is Patrick Morley from Rossendale. Well done, Patrick. You win £25. That will be added to your account, and there's another chance to win £25 or €25 in a free bet from Paddy Power when Maddie has finished swanning around Hong Kong and returns for Monday's postcast.
Paddy Power are offering huge money-back specials for the whole of December. Head to paddypower.com now for more information on the selected races. Max £10 refund per customer. T's and C's apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Right then, 3 races on ITV4 on Saturday. Starting with the 2:10, it's the Bet365 December Novices Chase. Take it away with a show of betting, Frank.
Yeah, Keeper Hill is 7-4, Bracador 2-1, Rocklander 9-4, and Ballycrystal 9-1.
Does this float your boat from a betting perspective, Frank?
Oh God, no! This is, yeah, it's very disappointing, really. Yeah, if pushed, I'd probably take a chance on Rocklander. He was a decent enough hurdler. He was only beaten ahead by Cogri at Cheltenham last year. I think giving him £1. Cogri probably a solid 135 horse. The race he won at Ludlow kind of fell apart a little bit, but he jumped well enough. Bar a mistake at the first, after that kind of woke him up, and he jumped well enough. And yeah, I'd take a chance in this 4-runner field with him. Like, it's not a race that excites me too much.
No, indeed. Rocklander for Frank. Who for you, Mark Boylan?
It's Bracador for me, Bruce. Stays really well, bundles of experience, to light the ground, and ran an absolute cracker behind Total Recall in the Hennessy there 2 weeks ago. I think there's very few of these horses that could run to a similar level as that, and that was off a career high mark too. I think this step into Grade 2 company, definitely not unwarranted. Worth a crack at this grade. Hopefully Bryony Foss can do the business with Bracador.
Keels, 2:10 Donny?
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I mean, he's fourth to Total Recall, third before that to Go Conquer, who won doing handstands and is obviously a seriously well-handicapped horse as well. They're 2 top handicaps. He wants decent ground. I think he ought to go well.
Now, Keels, in terms of watching your race then,
Right,
does it suit you if we come first to you
I
for
don't
the
care.
2:45?
You can come to me for it. Yeah, just get Frank to give it, because I haven't got the card in front of me at the moment. So I'm
Okay,
watching
Frank,
the
what are
screen.
the prices on 2:45 at Donny?
Oh, we don't have the prices for that, Bruce. I thought we were waiting to see the final field this morning, so it wasn't put.
Okay, we've got Act of Valor, City Dreamer, Aragon de Chanay, Je Suis Charlie, some of your We Have a Dream. Kills, pick the bones out of that one.
Right, yeah. I think it's probably between We Have a Dream and Act of Valour. But Act of Valour, it's got to be for me. It was really, really impressive at Newcastle. Jumped really, really well, apart from one hurdle. That was on soft ground. He was a 97 rated horse on the Flattened Island, and all his form was on good ground. He's going to appreciate it. He's one of the first horses owned by the McNeil family, trained by Paul Nicholls. You normally associate him being with Alan King, but I thought he really, really looked the part, and he's the one for me.
Who are you on here? Okotox.
Yeah.
How's it going?
I don't know, because I had to look at the bloody card, didn't I? I'm going to go back now.
It's out the back. It's out the back, being held up.
I was at the back being held up. Right, well, we'll leave Keels to enjoy that one. At 2:45, Donny, Mark Boylan, give us the winner.
The Triumph Hurdle winner runs in this one, Bruce.
Really?
Active Valour, I am all over him here. I think he's an absolute good thing. Michael O'Callaghan he thought the world of him when he had him. Even at one point, I think when he won at Roscommon, there was talk of him heading to Royal Ascot for something like the Hampton Court. He was a bit of a playboy at home, but very genuine. But I thought his hurdling technique at Newcastle was absolutely gorgeous. He hated that soft ground, but his class came to the fore. The runner-up with John Quinn's as well fancied, and the pulled a little ways cleared the third too. Paul Nicholls was on the record this week as comparing him to Celestial Halo, and for me that would absolutely do. And I think if there's 25-1 still available for the Triumph, I'm going to have a little bit of that before we head in and do more battle again in the summit. I'm very, very sweet on Active Valour.
He's got two very good ones to beat in Apples, and who's the other decent juvenile?
Espoir Dallin as well over this side of the water. He's an impressive horse too, but I would have slight concerns. I have slight concerns over your the Irish 3-year-olds at the moment. They're either Machuca and Espoir Dallin. I'm not too sure what quality they're beating over here. They could be smart horses, but I just get the impression that they could be blooded a little bit more easy. You get an idea of what you have comparing the English scene now, and Apple Shakir obviously be exciting to see too. But Active Valour for me, I'm really, really sweet them.
Okay, so Mark thinks Active Valour will win this and then win the Triumph Hurdle. You only have to tell us the winner of the 2:45 at Donny, Frank.
It'd probably be easier to tell you the winner of the Triumph. Apple Shakir is a good thing. It looks a match. Like, I would respect John Quinn in these events. He's won this race twice in the last 6 years. But Sweet Charlie was rated in the mid-80s on the flat. Like, it'd take a decent performance to beat the two at the top. That will be at the top of the market. But it's a match. But I'm going to just side with the Nicky Henderson horse getting £3. Like, I can see where they're coming from in Active Valour. He's very good on the flat, and he'll definitely appreciate better ground. But the Warwick win for We Have a Dream didn't come off the bridle, won by 10 lengths. And when you inspect the race, the fourth, Pad Your Own Canoe, won a handicap at Taunton very nicely off 115 yesterday. And the third crucial moment, won at Mark Raisin, was it last week or the week before, and is rated 128. Now, this horse didn't even come off the bridle beating these. I think if Active Valour can beat this, giving it £3, it'll definitely be in the shake-up for the Triumph. But I'd side with the Nicky Henderson horse.
Okay, and Frank, take us through a show for the 3:20 at Doncaster, which is easily the most competitive of the 3 televised races from a betting perspective.
Yeah, Virgilio's 130, Sago Success 9-2, Ballybody 5-1 along with Kilcray Vale. What happens now? 8-1, Must Meet a Lady 10-1, and we're 11-1 bar.
And who wins, Frank?
Do you know something? This is not the nicest race to try and have a bet on, but I'll take a flyer on the outside of the field, Killalakey. His form this year has been desperate. 2 runs way down the field, but last year he won at Doncaster off a pound higher, and his 3 runs prior to that win were pulled up. Now he's finished 8th, I think, twice this year. Headgear goes on. Brian Hughes is up. I'll take a flyer 12-1, but it's not with much confidence.
Okay, how many furlongs to go, Kills?
It doesn't matter, unfortunately.
Oh, right, okay. Well,
gone backwards.
While Kills gets over that, Mark, you tell us who wins the 3:20 at Donny's on Saturday.
Well, this is a great sign that we're both going mad, but I'm going to side with Frank here. I'm going to go and take a punt with Killalakey, the outsider of the field as well. First time blinkers might just sharpen him up. As he said, he's disappointing the first 2 runs of the season, but he just might need that to tune himself up as a 10-year-old now. And you'd imagine that this race could have been put aside for him too, and you'll get rewarded with a bit of a price here. And Charlie Longston, didn't he roll back the years last week with Pete Defeat at Sandown? So, going to side with a bit of a tentative one. We'll go with Killalakey.
Okay. Kills, which horse did the other 2 tip?
I tipped Killalakey.
Oh, well done.
Yeah, I remember that because I tipped it when it won at Doncaster last season. But I was going to go to another rag.
Look at your body position. You're slumped in that chair now.
Yeah, no, that's the way
really
I sit, mate. I'm an absolute slob. Yeah, so we got to move on. I was looking at one of the rags. Ran at Cheltenham last time, Solstice Sun. I don't think it's Will Biddick's finest moment. He just went off like a bat out of hell. But the horse absolutely jumped and travelled so well, and he just got knackered turning for home. He was still in front 3 out, and he just got knackered going to the second last. Pulled him up before the last. I think if he gets a more conservative ride from somewhere near the front, I think he'd go well at a decent price. He ran a cracking race the time before that. I think he's handicapped well enough to go close.
Okay, so the boys are taking a chance in this one. Kills goes for Solstice Sun, and Mark and Frank both go for Killala Key. Right, it's roundup time. The horses that you fancy in the races we haven't covered, but on your naps. Mark Boylan, you go first.
I like Moulin Avant at Fairy House in the 12:35. Ran absolutely very, very sweet race going back last time against Any Second Now, an invitation only at Navan last week. He's going to be a better chaser than a hurdler. He was very ignorant in that sphere, and he goes from 2.5 miles last time to just shy of 3 miles now. He's talented. He faces Monbeg Notorious and Bonbon O'Miel, but I will be disappointed if he gets beat tomorrow. Moulin Avant. And the other one, maybe, if there was any market support around for him, is Miracle in Medina in the 1:45 at Fairy House, Gordon Elliott's horse. There is a day in this one. He has ability. He hasn't shown it the last twice. You'd like to see a bit of market support from here because you get a handicap mark after this. But if there was any bit of positivity about him, I'd really be sweetening him. He had a long layoff after winning his bumper, and he may just have needed it in the first 2 starts. He wasn't firing on all cylinders. He's won his bumper at Fairy House as well. He's a good horse now, and when he sees a fence, he'll be better again. But there is a day in him over hurdles, Miracle Medina, and hopefully it's tomorrow.
All right, well done. Mark Hills, how many are in your round?
2 or 3. Donny, 140. Mo Hayed, Dan Skelton's. Went off 9-1 for the Greatwood. Doesn't want ground anywhere near as soft as it was there, and race round the inner all the way. It gets good ground at Doncaster. I'll be very disappointed if he doesn't win that. It looks his for the taking. We go back to Cheltenham, 120. The junior jumpers handicap chase. Bundoran, trained by Tom George, 6-year-old, who ran really well, a non-stayer in the 2.5 mile handicap chase for novices at the Cheltenham Festival, then finished 3rd in the Red Rum. I think if he's fit and well, then he ought to have an awful lot more come for, given that he's only a 6-year-old. In the 12:45, it's quite a tight little novice chase. Move with the Times is almost certainly going to be favourite. Q-Star Civil was 4 lengths behind him that day. I thought did really well to be kept on a mark of 135 by the handicapper, but it looks like Nick Williams wants to ruin that mark by running him against some good horses, and I think he's going to be a decent chaser. I think the novice handicap chase at the festival is up to 145 instead of 140 now, so he might need to go out a bit, but I'm keeping an eye on this horse.
We were on him last year, weren't we?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Frank, how many have you got?
Not that many.
Okay.
At Cheltenham, obviously not a betting proposition, but watch after Shakira. She's very good. You need to be watching her. She's going to win the Triumph. 12:45, Move with the Times. Another one of my favourites. This is a very weak race. I think he should be able to win. The 120, I'm with Paul and Bundoran. He's the same mark as when running a good race in the novice handicap at the festival. 3rd in the Red Rum at Aintree. That race worked out really well. The likes of Romanda Sanam, Gino Trail, Foxtail Hin, Do It for the Village, and Ravens Tower all ran that, and were behind him and have won this year. Then a couple of less obvious ones in Wolverhampton. The 8:15 of Wolverhampton, a horse called Maffick Toy, I think is the name. Robert Walford, or Mark Walford, is it? He ran over 1.5 miles the last time. He belted out in front and looked like he'd stolen the race and got collared late on. He's off the same mark, but he's dropped to 1 mile and a furlong. If he gets out in front here, I think he'll take all the beating. And up in Newcastle at 12:40, an Irish raider called British Art. It's been to Newcastle twice, absolutely hosed up twice. It's £7 higher here, stepping up and trip, but it tanked through the race over 1.5 miles the last time. I think he'll just, Graham Nee's on board. I think he'll do the same thing, and it's not the strongest looking race. I think it's got Strictly Art to beat. I think that'll take a fair bit of beating in the first race at Newcastle tomorrow.
Okay, let's get the naps.
This will not be beaten.
Mark Boylan, sign off the first part of your Postcast career, because I'm sure you'll be back when you've finished your studies with a winner.
But please God, Bruce, I'm going to sign off with a winner. Please God, it'll be Doncaster in the 2:45 Act of Valour.
act of valour. Were you saying, please God, you hope your Nat wins, or please God, you hope you work at the Racing Post again?
Well, both. I think I don't know which I'd say is stronger. Hopefully they're interchangeable. We can go one from the other. But yeah, I really, I think Active Valor will win, and I really hope I come back. Please God.
Well, you and Maddie are both 19. You're the future of this game, and we wish you well, Martin. Hope you come back someday soon. You're a fantastic young guy.
No,
and it's been great
really appreciate the
working with you.
opportunities. No,
Kills?
really grateful, Bruce.
155. I will go with King's Odyssey, 155 Cheltenham. I've been fancying it all week.
King Kong's Odyssey?
King's Odyssey.
King's Odyssey. And how about you, Frank?
340 Cheltenham. I'll go with Lady Karina.
Lady Karina. Excellent. Okay, let's look at Sunday in just a mo.
Paddy Power are offering huge money-back specials for the whole of December. Head to paddypower.com now for more information on the selected races. Max £10 refund per customer. T's and C's apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
It's Bruce Millington, Paul Keeley, Mark Boylan and Frank Hickey from Paddy Power. We're looking ahead to Sunday's meetings, and the big race in terms of quality is the 1250 at Navan. Features a horse who impressed the absolute hell out of me last time. Next Destination. I guess he's going to be fairly short, Frank. You haven't got prices yet, have you?
We haven't got prices yet, no. I imagine he might be favourite, but I wouldn't be 100% sure.
Did you like him last time, or are you going to take him on?
I thought he was absolutely unbelievably impressive, but Paloma Blue jumped terribly that day, and Someday is solid, but I don't think he's a superstar. I would be wary of backing him. I think that this Cracking Smart is a really, really good horse. He's win at Cork the last day. He absolutely ran all over Robin Desforet and Fabulous Saga. I know it was horrible ground at Cork last weekend, but Fabulous Saga was very impressive in winning. Was a grade 3 over 3 miles there. This Cracking Smart, he's go under the radar a little bit because the Yard have Samcro, but trust me, he's very, very good, and I think he might actually surprise Next Destination on Sunday.
I always trust you, Frank. Mark, who do you think will win the 1250?
Yeah, Next Destination, Bruce. Very impressed with him at Naas, but I'm just wondering a little bit about that performance. It was very impressive, but was it deceiving on the eye a little bit? I know that Someday fell next time, but the third and fourth have both been beaten in their subsequent starts. Cracking Smart is a really exciting horse, and I think he's the most likely winner here. Going forward, he could develop into a real Albert Bartlett sort. Gordon, I know he's no shortage of him, but I think just behind Sam Crow is this fella. I think there mightn't be as much between them at this stage of their career as many may think. I'd be very, very sweet in him. But one to give a mention to there that will be a bigger price, but one that will pay his way is Delta Work. Barry Geraghty is an interesting booking there for Gordon, the third string apparently, but the blue cap we've seen carry to success many times for Jigginstown. This horse, he won a Punchestown maiden hurdle doing handstands in May, and he was weak in the market at Naas when he ran behind Early Doors and Mary DeVee, and that form has been boosted since, but he stayed with me with support that day, and it was his first run after a break, but he was third to Sam Crow last time. I think he has scope to improve. He'd definitely win races this year, but Cracking Smart, I'd be disappointed if he got beaten in the Navan Novice Hurdle.
You're a Jigginstown man, are you? What are you, Frank? Jigginstown or Gigginstown?
I'm born to Gigginstown, I think.
What about you, Klaus?
I was told by all the Irish lads when I went over there that it's definitely Jigginstown, so I don't know.
I think it was Justin O'Hanlon absolutely swears blind it's Gigginstown.
Did he really?
He once said very dismissively, I have no idea why anyone would call it anything else. I don't know.
Well, I have to clarify that one now, Jesus. You don't ask too many questions now in that organisation, but I'm sure that they won't mind that one.
No, absolutely. It's the Irish equivalent of Southwell and Southall. Kills, have you got a view on this? There could be a Cheltenham winner lurking here, couldn't there?
Yeah, there could be. I mean, it could be a very, very good race. Obviously, Next Destination had good bumper form as well, fourth in the champion bumper, but Cracking Smart, race post ratings, what he's done and done comfortably, £14 clear at the moment. So, Next Destination does have to step up on what he's shown. He obviously can because he won so easily. I always find these races hard because you get a lot of horses that won their maiden hurdles and, at odds on pulling, carts, but we don't really know. So it'd be a waiting game for me, but they're two fascinating horses.
They certainly are. Take us through the rest of the Navan card, lads. You first, Frank. What do you like?
There was nothing else really caught my eye, to be honest.
Okay, mate. That's all right.
Yeah.
Don't you worry. What about you, Mark? Have you got anything else for us at Navan?
Yeah, I've got one there in the 3 o'clock there, the 2 mile 1 handicap chase. Don't Kick Nor Bite. She's £7 lower over fences than she is over hurdles. ran well at Goran last time behind one. It was turned over there at Tremor on Thursday over hurdles, but it's just a better chaser than a hurdler. I wouldn't be getting too worked up about it. But her jumping is the reason why she is £7 lower over fences than hurdles. She's not very economical, but Barry Garrity is an absolute genius at getting these horses to jump, getting them rhythms. I've seen him do it time and time again this summer on, Galileos that shouldn't be doing things like that. He's just excellent. And this mare's only win over fences came with Barry on board. She hasn't won since even. And she likes a strong pace too. I think that would help her. And Sizing Titanium, he has been in the point to point lately. I think he's going to go. He likes to get on with things in front. And she got up £3. I think don't kick nor bite for the run at Goran last time. I definitely think there's still more in the tank with her. She could be one that kind of went under the radar a little bit.
Rightio. Well, they're also racing at Carlisle, Chelmsford, Southwell and Thurles on a very busy Sunday. Kills, have you sussed anything elsewhere?
Yeah, 140 Carlisle. First of all, St John Henry, trained by David Pipe. Now, since David Pipe started trading, 16 of the 32 horses he sent to Carlisle are finishing the first two. 11 of them won. Another 7 have finished third or fourth. So they're not just going up there for the air. St John Henry, he's a real out-and-out stayer, and he found 2 miles 7 furlong, too short from at Lingford last time, just sort of plugged on into third. This is 3 mile 2 on heavy ground, right up his alley. I think he's got to go well. In the 2:15 Potemps qualifier, there's a horse there called Cooking Fat, trained by Diane Sayer. Now, he's been running over fences, and he is actually declared for a chase at Doncaster tomorrow. But if he doesn't run there, and he runs in this, I think 3 mile on deep ground is what he wants. So he's got a far better chance of winning this than he has got winning tomorrow. So you have to keep an eye on what happens there. There was one at Southwell, if I can try and find it. There's a mare's handicap hall 235. Might take a chance on Bayer, trained by Michael Appleby. Got Richard Johnson on. Missed about 2.5 years. Came back last year, ran in a couple of chases, and then a handicap hurdle. Showed nothing at all, but was rated 125. Now down to 108. Had a break. Might come back fresher, and can't believe he's booked Richard Johnson just for the sake of it.
Jolly good. Anything else at Thurles, Mark?
Well, I think in the bumper at Thurles, there's an interesting one there. Rhinestone, Joseph O'Brien's horse. Now, before this ran at Punchestown, it was beaten by Athenan, who Noah Meads think very, very highly of. But it was there were really, really great reports about this Rhinestone prior to it. There was talk that he could be even close to listed class if he's running on the flat. Now, he was turned over, but Athenan has gone on and won at Cork since. I think he'll benefit from that initial experience. Could be a different prospect now. And just at Carlisle, I give a mention to actually, far from me being Mr. Moneybags here by any means, but I've got a share in a mare that runs, or a filly that runs in the bumper at Carlisle in the 3:15, Derriana Spirit. Nicky Richards has been absolutely a gentleman to me. I played a little bit of music before, and I gave Anthony I did to the Inter-Jockeys Fund a couple of gigs over there in the north of England, and Nicky sat down with me and he said that he'd like to give me something in reward for going over and doing it, and because I wasn't asking for anything at the time, and he gave me 10% in a mare called Mardale, and she won 4, and we had great times at her, and she retired, and Nicky has given me a share in this filly now, Derriana Spirit. So look, hopefully she can run well. I'll be travelling over, please God, all been well, but I see the going description when I looked last was heavy, frozen.
Yeah, it's an inspection, so you better.
I really hope that's it. I hope we get a run, but look, hopefully she can do herself justice anyway. We'll be giving her a roar on, and any support in the Racing Post Towers would be very much appreciated.
Don't you worry, I'll cheer on. And what a nice thing to hear that Nicky Richards goes up at least a stone in my handicap for that. Good man, Nicky. That's a lovely thing to do. Frank, anything else for you?
Yeah, there's a couple that interest me in the 12:35 at Carlisle. Horse of Brian Ellison's called Tom and Jerry. He won his first 3 bumpers, then won 2 novice hurdles, went to Aintree for grade 1 in 2016, went off only 10-1 in the race of Ballyoptic won. He was off then for 18 months, reappeared at Carlisle over hurdles over 2.5 miles, probably a touch short for him. He was beaten 3/4 of a length by Desert Cry off a mark of 132. Now he's gone up to 135 and goes chasing, but he could be, I won't say he could be anything, but I think he's progressive enough, and hopefully, as long as it doesn't bounce, I think he'll take a fair bit of beating. In the 140, I might go against Paul here, which isn't the wisest thing to do, but this horse, Anshanley Clista, has been the headlines for maybe the wrong reasons. With the last year at Cheltenham, but he was 3rd on his first start for Rome McNally at Down Royal in the handicap, but on the day it actually turned out he had a possible task trying to give weight to Poorman's Hill, who was running off the mark of 106. Like, to put in context, I think Foreman's Hill placed in the Troy Town off a mark of 121. That was almost impossible. He went to Fairy House in the race that Presenting Percy absolutely hacked up in, and he was smashed in the betting. I think he was 16 to 1 into 8 to 1. Now he disappointed there, but this is probably a little bit easier. James Bowen, who is one of the best claimers around, claims 5 off as well, which is a very eye-catching booking, and I think he'll give you a run for your money in that race. And in Thurles, taking a bit of a flyer here, but in the 240, Pair of Brown Eyes is rated about 140 over fences. He goes back over hurdles here off a mark of 119. He had a spin a couple of weeks ago. I'm taking a bit of a chance. It might just be a spin for something over Christmas, but off a mark of 119, and they're claiming 7 off as well. He really ought to be getting involved. 2 miles in heavy ground or soft ground should be no problem for him. And that's it.
Lovely, well done, chaps. It's not quite it because I need a winner from each of you over Christmas. Any race, any course, just give me a good. It's on the running order. Read the bloody running order, kid.
I'm going to say Bristol de Mai. I really hope that he isn't just a Haydock horse, but I thought what he did at Haydock was absolutely sensational. If you look at a handicap chase, it was run the next time the Chaser Spud. He beat it by more than 10 seconds, but 5 of those were from 4 out to the line as well. He was really motoring and cantering at the same time, and I don't think he's been given the credit he probably deserves, and I hope he proves everyone wrong and wins the King George.
It wasn't too painful, was it?
No.
The idea that you wouldn't fancy anything over Christmas is ridiculous. Anyway, Mark, I'm sure you've fastidiously read the running order and have got a winner for us.
Well, I hope Paul is right there, by the way. Brian Sheeran laid me 10 to 1 last night with Bristol de Mai. He can't have him, so I'd absolutely love if you're right and I'm collecting after Christmas. But no, a horse there that I think if he turns up at Christmas that'll take the world of beating is Real Steel. Now, there's been a few different Real Steels. There's been a Japanese horse that Ryan Moore won on in Dubai last year. There was a Mouse Morris and a Philip Fenton one that chased home Vautour once at Leopardstown. But this one, I think he looks a bit special. He beat Daily Tiger in a bumper at Thurles. And he's well thought of too, that Daily Tiger. His French form is quite good, and a guy over there in France to be pally with, he said that of the batch that came to Willie Mullins in the crop of Animix and them, that this horse seemed to be right up there as the best of the ones that came over. And the trainer, not that I'd be overly familiar with it, he apparently leaves plenty to work on. He's only scratching the surface with them horses when they land, and he's entering the Future Champions novice hurdle. He's not short of speed, and if he lined up there, I think you can get 10 to 1 about him. I'd be confident enough that he'd give you a real good run. And the other one, maybe just
Wait, I'm going to say,
Sunday.
which race course and which day is that?
The 27th of December at Leopardstown.
Lovely.
In the Paddy Power sponsored Future Champions Novice Hurdle. It'll be Real Steel, Willie Mullins.
That's it.
And the other one in the 3 mile squared financial Christmas hurdle, grade 1, on the same day, Super Sunday, Jessica Harrington's horse. Ran a real lovely race in its comeback in the Hatton's Grace on soft ground, better on good ground. I was up at Jessica Harrington's for the launch of the Leopardstown Christmas Festival on Monday. He is an intended runner. He was a length and 3/4 behind Nichols Canyon last time. And Nichols Canyon goes well fresh. This fella might have needed the run. And, Nichols Canyon is 2 to 1. This fella's 10s. It makes no sense to me. So Super Sunday in the Christmas hurdle, the squared financial Christmas hurdle, and Real Steel in the Champions Novice hurdle on the 27th of December at Leopardstown.
Christ, he can chat old Mark, can't he? Makes DJ sound like Ryan Moore. Very impressive. And Frank, who's your Christmas cracker?
Oh, gosh.
I'll give you a couple and some weird. To be honest, I've been saying for a while, and I'm not going to back down. My bite's a good thing for that King George. I really, really believe so. Just Kempton is his track.
So short, though, isn't he, Frank?
Oh, I'm not saying back him now. Wait till the day, because that field is going to stand up. You're going to get Bristol de Mai. You're going to get Fox Norton. You're probably going to get Disco. You're going to get Whisper. It was confirmed today. That field is going to be deep. You could get 2 to 1 or 9. You possibly could get 2 to 1 or 9 to 4 in the morning. I'd be having a whack on that if he is. Yeah, I'd probably get killed for saying this, but a horse I have a share in Fuwart runs next Friday, hopefully in Dundalk. He was disappointing in the first 3 runs for us at Galway, the Curragh and Limerick, but returned to the all-weather at Dundalk the last time. He was just touched off by Cattyman of Mick Halfords, who went in again subsequently. We're hoping he might break his duck for us next week.
What's his name, Frank?
Fuwart.
How would you spell that?
Fuwairt.
Oh, good. Thank God you spelled that out for us.
He should go well, hopefully, as long as the draw or anything doesn't do him. This one's completely from left field. There was a horse yesterday running in Tramore that I thought was very interesting, called Princess Mahler of John Joe Walsh. Now, one of my esteemed Irish racing expert colleagues told me he thought this would be more lined up for Limerick than Tramore, but it was just touched off in Tramore yesterday. If this horse called Princess Mahler turns up at Limerick over Christmas, I'd be having a bet on that. And my missus asked me last week what I wanted for Christmas, and what I told her is I want Coney Island to win the old Lexus on the 28th of December. This horse, it's just, I love him, and I think if he comes back, I'm getting good reports of how he's working, and I think I've been reading a lot on Twitter about York Hill sizing John, and they're completely underestimating Coney Island. I think you're doing so at your peril.
Oh yeah, of course we've backed him for the Gold Cup on your say-so, haven't we?
Yeah, I'm after having a right whack in him. I'll probably have a whack in him at Christmas as well. I think he's underestimated, and I wouldn't be writing him off at all.
Lovely
I think
stuff.
You could get 8 or 10 to 1 on the day on that, and the mental price.
Tremendous. Thank you very much, Frank. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Keels. Thank you for listening or watching. And if you enjoy the podcast, do please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes.
Paddy Power are offering huge money-back specials for the whole of December. Head to paddypower.com now for more information on the selected races. Max £10 refund per customer. T's and C's apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.